So just kind of walking through life with that as a fly. I am now officially 23 years old. Insane to say out loud. I have a baby. You have something to say? No, but I have a baby. And this happens around this time of year for me because it's my birthday, but also because I shut the door. I did. But also because my cancer surgery anniversary is happening in a month. I get very nostalgic and I start reflecting on the last year, and I thought to celebrate my achievement of hitting 23 years on this planet. I would do 23 things I wish I knew before I turned 23. Most of these are going to be about my disability and chronic pain and things like that. So if you want to stick around and hear it, let's go. So I wrote a list down, and they're not in any particular order, they're just kind of what came to my head. So this might be a little all over the place, especially because I had a cat attacking me wanting cuddles while I was trying to write this. So it was an event. So first on the list is mobility aids actually help. This was something I definitely needed to hear when I was in high school, especially, was they can actually help. And I used to be so nervous to walk around, especially hearing people talk about being harassed being so young using mobility aids. I was always so nervous thinking, oh, well, I can still walk, so I can do that. I don't need one. But having used a cane now for about 4 or 5 years, there's no comparison. I sometimes still go out just because, like, to the store here in town without my cane. There is a drastic difference from when I bring it and when I don't. Please use the mobility aids. If you find that you have any sort of positive experience using them, you need them, please use them. I've heard someone say this, which is mobility aids are meant to be inconvenient for able bodied people. So if you find convenience in using a mobility aid, you need the mobility aid. There's your line. Second on the list is real friends allow you to change. This has been a very hard lesson for me to learn, but I had a group of friends in high school that were very mean. I've talked about them before. I don't think I've talked about the dedicated stories about them. I've just kind of brought them up here and there. But basically, I could tell you 100 different stories of what this group of friends did to me. One particular friend specifically. Basically, what it all boils down to is my disability was changing me. I wasn't able to do as much. I needed to, make sure if I was going places that I had my cane, my water, that I had food that I can eat, things like that. And they were very upset that I was changing when it wasn't my choice. And they made me feel bad about those changes happening when I couldn't control them. So they were just very mean to me about it. And they kept me around in their life because having the disabled friend, the sick friend, made them look better. That was the reason they stayed friends with me. Real friends allow you to change and can even change with you. Lesson to learn. 3. Pain isn't normal. Again, something little me, not even 2-digit old me, needed to hear. Which, yes, I know it probably sounds like, yeah, of course pain isn't normal. Duh. But the way that I was spoken to by my pediatrician about my pain, it was like pain was normal and that I was complaining about nothing when I wasn't. I was in pain, I needed help, and I was not being given help by the adult in my life that was supposed to provide the help. There's only so much your parents can do to dampen the pain. Something very important, pain is not normal. If you are in pain and you can't reduce that pain on your own, that you deserve to find professionals that can help you with that. 4, do it scared. This can apply to a lot of different things, but for me, what I've kind of found is anything worth doing is worth doing scared. Now, if there's a reason that you're scared, you should definitely be aware of why it is, because you shouldn't walk into blatantly dangerous situations because obviously you're scared because it's a dangerous situation. But if you're just more nervous of what's gonna happen, the unknown, which is what I'm usually scared of, what could happen, what are people gonna think, what are people gonna say, take all that away and you do this thing. If you were the only person to know about it, you were the only person to see it, how would it make you feel if you did it? Thinking just simply like this, you doing YouTube videos. If I'm the only person that ever watches them, I'm the only person that knows I'm doing them, which I'm not. There's all of you here. If I was, I did it for me. I did it to document my health, my symptoms, my journey, my story. And yeah, I did it for me to start because that's what was worth it. And now I'm here I'm doing this for all of you who could use a big sister kind of advice when it comes to chronic pain, or just a friend that you can sit with and know you're not alone with. So, doing it scared is sometimes the best way you can do things. So, do it scared. There's things happening downstairs. You okay, baby? We're on to 5. Karma isn't always something you get to see. This is a lesson I am still currently learning, but kind of going back to the friends thing, I've sometimes wonder like what are they up to, what are they doing? I have them blocked on certain social medias just because of the way that they treated me. But I do every once in a while wonder what happened, and I do feel like, if they treated me so horribly, they had to have had some sort of repercussion from that, some sort of karma. And something I've had to learn to live with is I won't see that. And that's okay because I know what they did. And if they did this horrible thing to me, there has to be some sort of karma. And I just have to sit here and believe that happened. So if you have people in your life that were like my shitty high school friends, just know that the way that the world is, when people do bad things to you, bad things happen to them. And when they do good things for you, good things happen to them. So just kind of walking through life with that, as a fly, walking through life with that sort of mentality has kind of helped me move past and move on from, maybe not move on, but certainly move past everything that they did. Number 6, your body knows what it needs. This has been really helpful for me when it comes to food, because speaking of food, it's my lunch alarm. Food has always been a really tricky thing for me. When I was dealing with my celiac disease, when it was undiagnosed, trying to figure out why I was in so much pain and what was going on, to now having my diagnosis and knowing what's going on more or less. It's crazy what my body was telling me was true. I was just struggling to figure out exactly what it was saying. But even now, I do my best to listen. I've been kind of messing with my diet just like a teensy bit with my strength training. I know protein's really important, so I've just kind of been seeing what works, what doesn't, and just seeing how my body reacts to eating more protein versus not eating a certain gram amounts, number of things. Like, I had a pretty high protein for like a few months, and my body has not reacted to it extremely well, so I'm going back to the protein that I was at, and just kind of seeing what my body is telling me has been extremely helpful and important to just feeling more like myself again. Speaking of food, number 7 is your body needs it. This is something I've kind of been wrapping my head around recently, but I do have some level of disordered eating. It's more the fear of food than anything. When I deal with the mental health side of everything, the stress of doctors, the stress of being in pain, not being able to do things, when all that kind of gets to me, I won't eat. And it's not necessarily like a you shouldn't eat kind of thing. It's more forget, because I'm so anxious about everything else that I don't even realize time is passing, let alone that I need to eat. Hence why I have alarms go off to remind me to eat. By the way, I am eating at 3, not 2 today because I woke up late. It's okay, we can ignore that. I'm gonna eat once I finish filming this video, no one panic. But yeah, especially when I was younger too, I think the disordered style of eating affected me more. Now, having the ability to absorb the nutrition that I'm giving my body, because I'm not eating wheat and I'm not throwing up all the time, that I actually have food in me, I think that's a contributing factor to why I've also been doing a lot better when it comes to energy and things like that, because I just have food in me. I can eat. Eat. It will do wonders for you. 8 on the list. Not all doctors will believe you. It is a sad, sad fact. Many Disabled people will learn, but it is a lesson that is needed. Not all doctors will believe you, as painful as that is, and there isn't anything you can do to change their mind. I mean, I've said this before, I've screamed at multiple doctors, full out screamed because of the way that they treated me. And as somebody who also lives in a small town who doesn't have access to a lot of doctors, it can be extra frustrating when the one specialty doctor in your area doesn't believe you, and you either have to drive multiple hours or to a completely different state to see a different specialty doctor, or just put up with this one. It is a whole thing, frustrating, but one truth you have to accept. Not all doctors will believe you, and you just need to figure out the most efficient path forward for you, whatever that looks like. This one does tie into 8, so number 9 is you can just leave. I did this with my last gastrologist, not the current one I'm seeing, but I just had a very bad vibe. I met with this doctor one time in person, completely got a bad vibe. Well, yes, I only met with him one time in person, and that was to get my endoscopy. Was it the endoscopy? Colonoscopy? My last colonoscopy. That's what it was. As the only time I ever met this doctor in person, never told me. The office never told me I was seeing a new doctor. I didn't realize that he was my new doctor until 10 minutes into our conversation, right as they were putting the anesthesia in. Never once in our conversation did he say, "Hey, I'm your new doctor." I had to put the context clues together. So it was just bad vibes all around. And so I just left. And rightfully so, because this doctor is the doctor that lied to me about the results of my gastro emptying study, that I have a slow emptying stomach. And that's why my stomach hurts. Luckily, I already knew that there was a gastrologist at a different hospital that I could go to, a hospital I trust far more. And so I did feel comfortable enough to just leave and to just tell I do this every time. General doctor? What's I almost said psychiatrist. That's not not the psychiatrist. Your normal physical doctor, the doctor you go to for the physical that actually sends you to the specialist. I told her I would like to see a new doctor, and she was like, sure. So I just left because I can, because I don't need to put up with people that aren't gonna deal with me, especially when I can go to a different doctor that still takes my insurance. And even if it is 30 minutes away, I'm getting better help. So, yeah, I'll drive the extra 30 minutes because that's worth it to me. 10 is another one that sounds obvious, but it's not. Asking for help leads to you getting help. A concept, truly. But I don't know. I think, again, this probably stems back to my friends. I would ask them to help me all the time, just with simple, basic things like, can you hand me my water? Because I forgot to grab it, and they would treat it like it was the end of the world or the most outrageous thing I could ask them. Don't ask me why, I don't know. They were fucking weird. So I do have that feeling of I'm gonna ask for help and people are just gonna straight up tell me no. Because again, that's what they did. Asking for help by people who actually want to help you leads to you getting help. A lesson I had to learn. And I'm still learning, clearly, because I have such a hard time asking for help for some reason. What did I write down? 11. 11 is a lesson I had to learn in college that makes me angry that this is how the world works, but it's just, I can't change it. To have A and B, C to get to Z. So you can't just go from A to Z. You can't just skip the middle parts. You have to go from A to B, then B to C, then C to D, which can be entirely frustrating because I remember in college I was like, I just want to graduate. I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to have my diploma. I just want to say I did it. It's like, that's not how it works. You need to go through all the classes and do all the things and deal with the professors and deal with the stress and pain that comes with it to get to Z, which is graduating. And I get like that too when it comes to moving out and living on my own. It's something I think I have the ability to do. I don't think I know I have the ability to live on my own. I just don't have all the resources or the money to do it. State of the world and all that. But there are things that I can do right now that can be like my A to my B, my B to my C. Like the strength training, being able to be as independent as I can. Things like that. Enjoy the journey because it will make the destination all the sweeter. That's another way to put it. Number 12 is to learn how to be alone. That sounds very sad, but it's actually a really helpful skill. It's just to be comfortable by yourself and be okay being alone. You don't have to, like, I'm not saying become a hermit for the rest of your life or never talk to people again if you like talking to people. I'm saying you need to be okay with being by yourself. It's an important lesson to learn because you never know when you're gonna be on your own or how long you're gonna be on your own for. Like, I had to leave all of my friends in high school because of the way they've treated me. I haven't made any friends since then. I have my mom, my sister, of course, but there are times where I am alone. And I've had to learn to be okay with that. And how this fly is annoying. Oh, I dropped the clip. Make it clippy. Basically, something you should prioritize in your early adult life, in my opinion, is to learn to be alone. That doesn't mean that you never speak to people when you're like at work or you never go and see your friends, but have dedicated times where you just need to be alone and learn to be okay with just yourself because it can be extremely helpful. 13. Hobbies are helpful. This is something I've prioritized in the last 2 years. Learning how to crochet, reading, watching TV shows, having these little hobbies that are just for me for fun have been very helpful to fill my time because I tend to have a lot of time where I'm just not being able to do a whole heck of a lot because I hurt and I need to not function for like an hour. But having hobbies has been so helpful, just also for my mental health, to have, these things that help. That's helpful. Wow, inspiring. To have something, a project to work on, to chip away at, to feel like you're achieving things. To, like, one of my favorite things is when I make something, good, bad, whatever, is I take it and I show my mom. It's a very important part of the process. Once it's all done, you go and you show your mom. It's very important. And she loves it because it's like a little surprise because I don't tell her what I'm making. I just show up with something. It's like, look what I did. Like a kid. But yeah, that's what I do because it makes me happy and it brings me joy. And you need things that bring you joy. So have a freaking hobby, even if it is just watching a TV show because you like that TV show. It brings you joy. That's the point of hobbies, is to bring you joy. So do the things that bring you joy. Yeah. 14, I need to explain. This is for very young me, and I think this might also do with the fact that I'm an older Gen Z, and so the internet was still becoming a thing. But you can Google things. I forget, like, all the time that you can just Google things. You can just look things up. Like, when I have a symptom, it's like, oh, well, I guess I'll just note this and I'll ask my doctor next time. You can just Google it right now. You don't need you don't need to wait. You can just look it up. I do this with online shopping too because I think I get this from my mom. When we need something, if it doesn't exist like in the stores we shop at, we just don't get it. We like completely forget that like you can just buy it online and it'll come to the house. I don't need to wait for it to show up at a Walmart. Is more like a little quirk of mine. But yeah, you can Google things and you can learn things. You can get scared of things because that's Google's great at that too. But yeah, you can look things up and you should. So please do that. Please Google things. Google is free. 15 is something I've been screaming for the last month, but is worth noting every time I think of it. Take a fucking break. A lesson I learned the hard way, especially doing online college, is you need a break. You need to give yourself breaks. There is nothing wrong with breaks. Breaks are great. I usually take naps because that's what I need. Take a break. Take some time. It doesn't mean you're lazy. It doesn't mean you are a less efficient worker. You just need a break. And that's okay. So take a fucking break. A concept. I won't talk about that one too long because again I've talked about it a lot this last month. So well, moving swiftly on. 16, your health needs to come first. You are disabled, you are chronically ill, you have chronic pain. Your health needs to come first. That can be very hard, especially being young. You never really have to think about your health, especially being around able-bodied people that are your age that don't have to think about their health. Your health does need to come first, and that needs to be the priority in almost every situation. And that sucks that you have to think about this at like the forefront of your mind. But again, having friends that know this and are willing to accommodate you and help you can make that a lot easier. But yeah, Health comes first. 17. Celebrate your wins. This is something I struggle with, and it's actually one of the reasons I am making this video. Getting another year older is a win, especially if you saw me when I was younger. I looked like I was on death's door because I basically was. So the fact that I am here at 23 to yap at you about 23 random things is a win to celebrate. It's also why I spent all of my year last year celebrating 10 years cancer free, because that is a goal that I achieved, and it is a win that deserves to be celebrated and will be celebrated again this year for 11. So be prepared for that video. Celebrate your wins, from the big anniversary milestones to the small I got out of bed and made myself a bowl of cereal, because they are all wins and they all deserve to be celebrated. 18 is feel your feelings. Again, back to high school friends. It's where a lot of these have stemmed from. With the type of relationship I had with them, I wasn't able to speak about how I felt ever, basically, unless it was a happy, positive emotion or something that they could be like, "Oh, you're so inspirational. We're so proud of you." They didn't want to hear about it, and so I basically wasn't allowed to feel my feelings, and so I wouldn't. And it's just now a thing that I can do, sort of, kind of. I'm not very good at it, but I can feel feelings. I can feel my feelings when they pop up. Journaling has been a big help with that, being able to write down the feelings that I am feeling when I am feeling them. A lot of feelings, clearly. Still on the process of learning that one, and I'm getting better at it, but feeling your feelings is always better than not feeling them, because when you don't feel them, they build up, and then you break down sobbing and crying in your mom's bedroom for like 3 hours, unable to speak or talk because you are sobbing that hard. And then when you finally can talk, you bring up one thing and then you start crying again, and you basically are there all day doing this cycle. So feel your feelings. 19. I'm gonna make sure I look in the camera when I say this. You are not a burden. Being disabled does not make you a burden, because I felt like that a lot with my high school friends, again, that asking them to give me basic human decency made me a burden. You are not. And if people are making you feel that way, maybe you shouldn't have them in your life. Just saying. Just saying. Just gonna leave that there. This actually connects to that one, so we're not leaving it there. Being disabled does not reduce your worth. I was basically used as like a little purse dog, I guess is the best way I can explain it. That's how it felt. I was used to make other people look better, and my worth was reduced in their eyes because I was sick, and because the only thing I was good for to them was to make them look better. And that really fucked with me. It still kind of does, honestly, that I'm gonna find those people again. But I know what to look for now, so even if I do find those people again, I just go, I ain't dealing with that anymore. Be gone. So I will find people that view me just as worthy as anybody else, regardless of my disability. I just need to stick around to find them. By the way, I had to leave the house, so I have a mask. It needs to be washed. Where was I? 21. Appreciate what and who you have in your life. I definitely had a really hard time with this in high school because of everything that was going on. I didn't always appreciate the people that were treating me kindly because I had so many shitty people around me, and I didn't always appreciate. Hi. Interruption. Basically, my mic died and I didn't realize it. So I'm just gonna do the last 3 things on my list here. So I left off on appreciate what you have. So what I was talking about was that when I was in high school, although I had really bad friends, I also had some pretty good friends, and I don't feel like I always appreciated that. And not just good friends, but also good teachers that genuinely tried to help me get through high school to at least graduate, because they could see that I was struggling and I wasn't doing well. Yeah, that was a lesson I had to learn, was just to make sure that I appreciated everything. And it does kind of lead into 22, which is you will never be the same person. Even if my pain went away tomorrow, I will not be the same person I was before my pain started, because I have learned so much. I've grown so much. I am just that different of a person. And as hard as that is to remember, it kind of goes into the appreciating thing. Is I appreciate where I am now, because I will never be the person I was, but I will also never be this person again. I will inevitably get worse. I will have my life change hopefully for the better, like positive changes and all that. Remembering those two things has been something that has been really helpful these last few years. And number 23 is to be somebody that you would be proud of. And that's kind of been my whole thing online, especially. I can hear Finn. You can't please everybody, and that's another thing I've been working on, is people-pleasing tendencies and things like that. What is that noise? I think I know what it is, but it's gonna take me a minute to fix it, so let me wrap up this video. So yeah, I've had some people-pleasing tendencies in my life, so when it comes to oh my Finn! The door is being shut until I finish. What I am trying to say is, because you can't please everybody, my goal for everything, whenever I do anything, is to just try and do it in a way that I will be proud to look back on. If I could look back and regret not doing something, that I make sure I do it in the moment. That if I would look back and be embarrassed or ashamed of a way that I would handle a situation, trying not to do that. And if I do end up doing it, making sure I learn from it. Those are my 23 things. I hope you enjoyed. Like I said, this is not only my 23rd birthday, but next month will be my 11-year cancer anniversary, so feel free to subscribe if you want to stick around to see that video. I am very excited for what I have planned for it, so with that, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, it really helps me out. On screen now are my social media handles if you'd like to see more day-to-day things that I get up to. And with that, I will see you next week for a brand new video.